So today is actually a nice, small, lovely subject called social behavior. And in this small lecture, I'm going to try and give you an idea about something you already know. There's nothing new in me telling you about social behavior because you practice it every day. If you don't practice it, you're dead. You can't be alive without social behavior. And there is a multitude of that. And as it is with everything, scientists come and dissect everything, including social behavior, and will give you an idea about how to look at it from a different perspective, not from inside, but from outside the box. So, social behavior is basically something we have from birth. Now, if you do not have any social behavior, no infant, no baby will survive. It's inside us. We have the tendency of being social. So we take care of the weak and the children and the babies. And sometimes even your parents are still taking care of you when you're adults, paying your tuition fees or even buying you a flat or a car or paying for your wedding. So it is something that we have inside us, and we've had it for a very long time. Well, we've got a lot of proof to that, for that. So we're going to study the social behavior within the interactions we have within that. Okay, so sometimes it's also called social psychology, but it isn't just something for psychologists or sociologists. It's for all of us. Sometimes, or let's say, let's start with this, for example. This is the Shanidar cave. And we know, after discovering the remains in the Shanidar cave, that we have been social beings for a very long time, thousands of years. I think the Shanidar cave has remains from 50 to 80,000, around 50 to 80,000 years ago. And this was a group that was together. So they found graves and remains in that cave. So the group of humans that lived at the time were social. And there are a few other places on the planet where they found things like that. Shanidar is one of the oldest. There's one or two, I think, older found recently. There are some more new finds in Shanidar, just discovered recently, which all gives us an idea about how things were in the past. Now, even, as I said, even today, we prefer to be in groups. We barely like to be individual, alone, barely. And I say barely because some still like it. And even animals and insects, we've noticed, like to be sociable and in groups. Not all, but a lot of them. Deers, for example, lions, monkeys, chimpanzees. We all know that. If you watched any of the National Geographic documentaries, or even if you watched The Lion King, and you can see what's going on there. So the groups together. What is social behavior? It's the interaction or conduct of members of a society, any society, humans, insects, ants, animals, deer, etc. Within the concept of social behavior, predation is not considered social behavior. What is predation? Predation is an animal preying over another animal. So a tiger following it, or a cheetah following a donkey or a zebra to eat it. That's not social behavior. We going on a hunt is not social behavior. That's not social behavior. Social behavior is the interaction. A shark eating a fish is not social behavior. But a group of turtles traveling thousands of kilometers together, that is social behavior. Birds traveling together from an area to another area is social behavior. It could be positive, it could be the right thing, it could be negative, it could be the wrong thing, the wrong behavior. So there is right, wrong, positive, negative behavior. There are things that are acceptable, there are things that are not acceptable. And you will find that some of these concepts have been mentioned in other classes or other lectures because it all intermingles together. So there are things that are acceptable, and they might be acceptable as a social behavior in our society and not in a different one, and vice versa. As I have mentioned in a different class, academic debate, certain behaviors like kissing the cheeks in France was a normal, acceptable social behavior, right? Let's note these. Was. Now, we have something called Corona, and it is possible that our social behavior will change significantly after that. So definitely, different societies will have different social behavior norms, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. In different time eras of human development, you will find also that the social behavior in some areas at a certain time might change. For example, in Scandinavia, Sweden, and Norway, during the time of the Vikings, aggression and aggressive social behavior was normal. In Rome, certain sexual activities were acceptable, that we may not have these as acceptable in our society, but might be acceptable in a different society. So throughout history, and different societies at different times will have different social behavior standards. Now, it is possible that our social behavior standards are going to change worldwide, in each society differently, after the pandemic of Corona or COVID, in COVID-19. So you can see that we are witnessing a historical event of social behavior and the evolution of social behavior. So what dictates our social behavior? Some of it is genetics. As I said, babies, mothers take care of babies, and that is whether it is a chimpanzee, a human being, or a lioness. So generally, that's kind of like inside us. But there's also cultural influences, and this coronavirus is one of them. Other effects are also the society, what's acceptable in your social behavior. Kissing a gay partner nowadays, today in Europe, is acceptable to the society, maybe not to some individuals. Now, about 50 years ago, that was not acceptable. Same society, different time. The same thing is with us here. It is not acceptable to do that, but if a male kisses a male for us, that is not considered gay activity, for example. And I'm just giving you examples of things that we observe every day. Now, 30 years ago, a boy and a girl holding hands was probably not acceptable. It is probably still not acceptable in some areas of Kurdistan, but now it has become acceptable. So you can see how exciting this thing of social behavior is if you look at it and dissect it anatomically. And that's my cat, that's our cat behind me that has been interacting with a plant in the last 5 minutes. And now it's socially interacting with me. It's coming to me, rubbing herself against my legs because it wants either food, but if the food is available for him, sorry, it's a male, then probably it's more another social activity. It wants to be hugged. And it does that frequently, actually, interestingly. You sit there and it comes and rubs its head against your hands and cheeks, which is a peculiar behavior if you think about it from an animal, but it is. It has become sociable in our house. So let's look at a few aspects of social behavior. I'll give you 9, I think, more important types of social interaction and social behavior, some of which is probably newer to us nowadays, right? Social influence would be nowhere. I mean, that is the basis of the massive advertising industry. I'll show you some examples how social influence is real. It is not only real in the sense of its actions and its effect, but it also can be not only abstract, but actually shown in numbers. Let's have a look at a few examples I have prepared for you. Now, I have these 2 examples. You will probably know both of them. Now, Kylie Jenner has 175 million followers. Not the highest in the world, but one of the highest. But with that, she very intelligently and smartly built a fortune of over $1 billion by promoting makeup line of hers. So she convinced people. So she built a fortune on the basis of people trying to emulate her about her lipstick, and that her lipstick is the reason why she has such lips. And she sold that idea. Our local nice girl, Bana, has 577,000 followers. She has some influence as well, more locally, but that's also an influence. So you can see social influence can have a serious effect on the society. And let me show you an example from a few years ago.
Teens on social media are doing the Kylie Jenner lip challenge, and the results are terrifying. When I was little, we used to put 2 Pringles in our mouth if we wanted to pretend to have duck lips. What happened to that? Hi everyone, I'm Morgan Manousos for Buzz16. Hashtag Kylie Jenner challenge has taken over social media. Bored people are posting photos and videos of themselves sucking on a cup or shot glass until their lips are swollen. The goal is to look like this, but the reality ends up looking like this. There's purple and red bruising, popped blood vessels, and it looks like a lot of these kids can't shut their mouth. Some of the results last a long time, with one girl tweeting, "It's been 3 days and my lip still hasn't gone to normal. Don't try the Kylie Jenner challenge." If you ask Kylie Jenner, her lips are 100% natural. She told Grazia magazine, "I haven't had plastic surgery. I've never been under the knife." Then Kylie, can you please do a makeup tutorial and put these kids out of their misery? Buzz16, now you know, pass it on.
So it's a bit sarcastic, if you understood it. So she's never had any operation and been under the knife. Of course, yeah, I mean, breasts grow on their own, lips grow on their own, cheeks grow on their own, and noses repair themselves on their own, right? But nevertheless, she caused by that challenge a serious amount of people to emulate her. I would like to show you this. This is from a time where you might still, I mean, some of you will probably still know the stuff with sneakers. So this is the first, they call it the first Air Jordan shoe that Michael Jordan himself wore unsigned, as you see here. He wore it only for one game. I think it was banned afterwards because of its color. The NBA didn't like it. Now, it is at the meantime, if you have enough money, still another couple of days to buy it. It is an auction, and you can buy it from Sotheby's in New York. And you can see it's in pristine condition. And let's think about this here for a minute, okay? This shoe, near Mizgoti Gowra, you will buy it for what? 30, 40, 50,000 dinars, used. Yes? Maybe a little bit more. The boys will know probably the price is better. I mean, I have bought a Nike for 25,000 there. So basically, it's a shoe from the manufacturer, Nike. Nice, but used. Correct? This has been on offer between 100,000 and 150,000 double pounds a daftar. That's the average price they are expecting it to fetch. Right? So you can see the only difference between this shoe and from Mizgoti Gowra, secondhand, is that Michael Jordan put his feet into it for one game and signed it afterwards. That is social influence in its prime. And the companies know that. They play on our psyche. So we've got this gorgeous Sofia Vergara, and she wears a Rolex. So as I said, the gorgeous Sofia Vergara flaunts and shows her Rolex, diamond one. The contract between Tiger Woods at the time with Nike was legendary. It was, I don't know, a lot of millions. George Clooney promoting Nespresso. They look at the right person usually to promote their stuff. And our local Kurdish companies have learned also. So we have this lately. And we've noticed lately we've got this celebrity endorsement of products. And you know what I mean here is this tendency lately of fitting latest songs of singers to products. Family mode. Listen to the lyrics. So I'm fasting at the meantime as I'm recording this video. And I have to say, watching this, the way it's cooked, and the way it's presented, and this lady singing it, I'm starting to like it. I would like probably one day go and try. Turn this off. I would like to go and try this rice. I might actually try it. Would I have tried it if I didn't see this advertisement and endorsement? Probably not. But it made it, it influenced me. I'll give you another example of Jojo Siwa. Jojo Siwa will celebrate in 2 days her 17th birthday. Okay? Now, she used to be on something called Dance Moms, something from Disney, produced by Disney. And what, sorry, what she used to wear always is these oversized headgear. Always. They're really oversized. And usually, at the time of the series, and it was years ago when she was about 12 or 13, these were small. She would make them themselves, or I think her mother would make them. Anyhow, this is what she liked to wear. There was nothing behind it. And then people started to, and I told you about the mirror neurons, started to like this. They want this. And this is how this influenced it. And so a company came and said, we will produce these designs you have. And cut it short, she's 17 in 2 days, and she's worth $12 million. Think about that. That is social influencing. Kate Middleton, the future Queen of Britain, some weeks ago had a dress from ASOS on. This dress costs £200, and she had it on while she was clapping for the healthcare workers. And this is something they do every Thursday there now and there in England. That dress becomes sold out within a day. So she didn't mean to promote it. She didn't do anything. She just wore it and came on TV, and people liked it. And that dress was around for a while. At £200, it's a lot of money for a dress, I think. But interestingly here, it was sold out within a very short period because Kate Middleton bought it. Another aspect of social interaction is aggression. You can see that we were talking about social influence, and now we're coming to aggression. Aggression, why does it happen? How? We're not talking about predation here. We're not talking about hunting an animal. We're talking about something else. This is a photo of a mass grave of Anfal operations, which the Iraqi army did against us Kurds. This is Jews in a concentration camp in Germany and the surrounding areas where they were occupied. So this is aggression. So aggression is being hostile or violent against someone or a social group. Here Kurds and here Jews. And sometimes we try to understand, and when you study, when sociologists study this, they try to understand why. Why did this happen? It happened also in the Balkan and Yugoslavia with the Muslims. It has happened in Myanmar. It happens in a lot of places where a social group is being excluded and being considered evil. And I am going to discuss conformity later on, where actually it's not only someone who does it, but also the whole society goes into this aggression. And they get kind of like, I wouldn't say brainwashed, but they get this cohesive behavior of everyone doing the same thing, thinking that this is the right thing. We also, in Iraq and Kurdistan, expelled the Jews in the 40s because we thought about them as Zionists and evil and enemies. Iraq expelled a number of people of Iranian origin in the 80s, and so on and so on. This happens all the time. So aggression as part of the social behavior. Here, aggression. 12-year war in Troy, and the purpose was a woman, Paris, who took Agamemnon's wife to Troy. So there are films about this story. Altruism. Altruism is something else. It is something where you give. Now, it could be money, it could be time. It is tashiya, right? It's not sacrifice, actually. No, I wouldn't so call it tashiya. Sacrifice is tashiya. More ithar. So you want to give something for the well-being of others. And there is some studies that shows that altruism makes us happy, healthier. It helps us a lot. And it's contagious. When I say contagious, if people see that you're doing something, I'm giving you an example here. For example, Ghaith is not altruism, okay? This is very important. But Ghaith, as we know him, now he's promoting something where to encourage people to give to the poor. And there are a lot of examples where billionaires like Elon Musk, Warren Buffett, Bill Gates do a lot of that altruism. And it makes them feel happy. They have money. Considering being happy, they have enough money to last them for the next 2,000 years. But they do this for their own society and for their own well-being. Scapegoating is another concept, and this is where you can see it in aggression here. Whether Jews or Muslims in certain aspects, I mean, if there's a terrorist, I mean, what is scapegoating first of all? It's the practice of singling out a person or a group for unmerited blame and consequent negative treatment. So, for some time, Jews were blamed for the misery and the poverty in the countries, or even for the Black Death, plague. At some stage, some societies blame the Jews for it. Any terrorist attack today, the first group to be blamed is Muslims. First of all, it's Muslims until proven otherwise. We know that. We see it every day. And so on, and so on. So, scapegoating is having someone or a group blamed without evidence. And it could have negative consequence and treatment. Shyness. My God, we have a lot of that here. Shyness, I mean, some children are just shy when they see new people. So they try and kind of like cover themselves with something. Could be a blanket, could be a parent, something. Presenting. There's a lot of shyness everywhere, and in you, where a lot of you are just shy to speak in public. That's relatively normal. That is something that you can work on to change and improve. Shyness is not bad, but at the same time, it can have negative influence on yourself in the society. Shyness is to have a question and answer session where nobody asks a question, even though you have questions. Organizational. For example, in a company or in a business or in a society, there is organization. There is someone here, management's philosophy, values, leadership, etc. There's an organizational culture, there is social environment, and etc. Basically, what you have is you want from this organizational social interaction to have performance, employee satisfaction, and personal growth and development. So what we want, let's say I have a business, and I do have a business, and I do a lot of this social interaction in organization. So I do something, I put a system where people under my command are happy, yeah, they perform, so we have a monetary result at the end of the day or the week. And they also feel that they are growing and developing. And there is a system for that. And you can see in some companies, people are happy, and in some companies, people are not happy. McDonald's is known to have a high turnover of employees. On the other hand, there are companies where they have the least turnover of people. Google is one of them. People just don't want to leave because they are happy. Amazon is also one of those that have a high turnover, especially down in the warehouses. Conformity, social interaction and conformity in social interaction. And I've put two photos here, and there is millions of photos and millions of ideas here in conformity. You do that every day. You confirm because you buy this bag because you like it, or because your friend, we're not talking about even influencers, because your friend bought it and you like it. You buy this dress, or you buy these shoes, etc. You you go out with some friends and they all smoke the hookah, shisha, and somehow you get influenced to start smoking it again yourself, or cigarettes, for example, right? So we have seen all of that, and you'll find that the person who doesn't smoke with them gets kind of like excluded a little bit in their interaction. People who go out and drink alcohol, and then there is someone who doesn't drink alcohol, he's going to be the outsider always, the maza thinger. Okay? Here, this is a photo where all of Germany kind of like confirmed to the idea that Jews are evil and we need to do something about them, and we need to do the end solution and get rid of them. They confirm to the idea that mass slaughter of Jews is acceptable. Now, I am not sure if during the Anfal operation, the Arabs in Iraq knew about it. But if they knew about it and accepted it, that would be also conformity. Now, we had a statement from Aung San Suu Kyi in Myanmar, which was bizarre. Now, in her country, Muslims are being killed and deported for no reason other than that being Muslims, and they are Buddhists. And she kind of like confirmed to the idea that it's okay. They must have done something, they are terrorists or something. So this is a Nobel Prize, Peace Nobel Prize winner. Bullying. And the only photo that I would find for bullying is something like that. Someone is smoking the shisha, she doesn't like it, and he bullies her by smoking into her face. Bullying, something happens in schools, at work, businesses, offices, at hospitals. There's a lot of evil doctors bullying other doctors or backstabbing them. But bullying is something really evil, and there is a lot of work to reduce it or stop it. I'm sure most of us experience some kind of bullying from someone at school. That's also a kind of interaction. Obedience is a tiny bit different. You do what you've been asked to do the first time completely joyfully and without complaint. You basically are told to do this or not to do that, and you do it, and that's it. Ta'a. Now we have that in some households with children and some households with the wife. This brings us to the conclusion of this lecture. I hope you got something out of it. And I'm just going to go through kind of, this is, so social behavior, social interaction, and important concepts of social influence, aggression, altruism, scapegoating, shyness, organizational, conformity, bullying, and obedience. There are probably others, but these are the most important ones that we face every day in our lives. I wish you a nice day, and I'll hopefully see you soon for the last lecture. We're going to have a question and answer session very soon. I'm going to announce it on Google.